Onwards. And so far we've been doing a lot of little things, but I think we've finally started to add some really big sharp edges and some alphas too. We start to really detail this, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, we can go back to messing with that little shape. Oh no, I just subdivided it, okay. I thought I was gonna waste a lot more time with that. Just a little bit. Just a little bit more. We happy? No. Oh yeah, we're giving the mesh thickness, finally. And that's when I realized that the booleans, the live boolean actually works. And I'm like, oh, I was like dazzled for a moment. But now I know. And our mesh is starting to get a little bit slower because of all the geometry and the booleans we have in it. But we're nearing the end. Yeah, after this it's only 2 more chapters, and the last 2 chapters are just like final details. Hey, there it is. That's the Vitaly brush, right? The one with everything turned up really high. Yes, it seems like it. Yep. So I turn on lazy mouse just so I can get these really smooth curves. And then we go to town. We gotta be really careful because it's pulling all of the geometry. I don't know if you can notice. Whew. So it looks like something was messing up there, but it was really just the boolean. Some more lines. Oh, more? Whew. You gotta be careful with this brush because it's really intense. I still go back with the H polish to fix it a little bit. And then I start exploring the idea of, carving in by holding down Alt. Because right now I've just been dragging the brush normally, but by holding down Alt, we get the opposite. We get this inward pinch. And I started using that to create a little bit of, I guess, levels, you could call them. A little bit more lazy mouse because the curve wasn't smooth enough. And don't forget, even if you don't get the curves perfect on your first try, you still have the move brush. So you can still tweak things after the fact. And then doing the brush stroke in reverse with Alt again to create this very little interesting effect. And here I wasn't exactly what type of shape I wanted, but I guess we're happy with that one. Yeah, that works good enough. And that depression that I was trying to boolean at this exact location, I just realized I can do something similar with the Vitaly brush. My name is Vitaly. How can I be of assistance? Okay, I guess what we wanted to do didn't quite work out. Yep, I'm pretty sure we end up just making a mask and pushing it in. And I thought I can make something cool here, some cool detail. So I just drew that shape. And then I realized, we need one at the top as well. And the funny thing is, I end up deleting these. Or not deleting, polishing them. I like erase them. I smooth them out. But I don't know that. I do not know that yet. So I try to make the same shape at the top. I mean, it looks cool now, but then I find a better detail to put in there. And I'm still trying to create that little edge around this piece, but it just doesn't look good. So I do give up. Leave it just as it is. They could have done something more interesting in this area, but I don't know. Wasn't really interested on that part. And then a lot of H polish. Well, sometimes it's little H polish, sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it's the alternate smooth, which I've already mentioned. Now the teeth need a little bit of sharpness as well. What am I doing there? Oh, I think I was just testing the size of the brush. Some sharpness here. Yeah, this brush really pulls the geometry. So I redo this a bunch of times. Whew. Pretty sure I get rid of this stroke, not because it looks bad, but because, I mean, the other end of this cable doesn't have it. So it just looks weird. Yep. What am I doing there? H polish. Wait, I had already done that. I guess I just gave it additional polish. Oh yeah, a friend called me at this point, but he doesn't use ZBrush, so I was just dazzling him with the ZBrush matte caps. Yeah, we were both bored, so we just started chatting while I was sculpting. I forgot what he was doing. Trying to make this the seal look more interesting. And I mean, I like the idea, but the execution was a little so I try to do it more carefully, see if it makes a difference, but not really. This So then I had this idea of using some of the brushes I've accumulated over the years. This is actually a fairly recent one. I'm just doing crazy things because these brushes have way too much detail, but I just wanted to see what they would look like. I mean, they're pretty cool brushes, but they just don't fit what I'm doing. Yeah, it's just way too much detail. Let me try a different brush. And then a different one. And it all looks nice, but it just doesn't fit. So we go with something simpler. No, we keep what we already had because it was good enough and it didn't distract from the rest of the helmet. So just making it a little bit more puffy. With standard brush. That's actually a damn standard brush. Not the Vitaly brush. There's no way I kept that. Did I? Oh, I did. Oh, okay. So it's time to make some alphas because our mesh needs a little bit of detail. So I drew this out, this little shape. It's just some lines really. I made them in a program called Affinity Designer, which is like Illustrator but easier to use. I just drew a circle and a little rounded off square and exported the alpha, and here it is. I'm just trying to make it look more interesting without making it into a phallic object, which is actually harder than you might think. I remember I was modeling some armor a couple of years ago, and it was pretty complex, so it had a lot of cut lines. And one day I was looking at it like a long time after, and I'm like, wow, this thing has like phallic shapes all over it, cut lines and alphas. And I know. Don't know how that happened. Hey, there it is, and it looks good enough. But I switch it from drag rectangle to a drag dot so they all have the same size. Some more over here. I'm just getting rid of some subdivisions and splitting this piece off so I can add some alphas to it. Another phallic element. It's like an obsession. This one didn't work out because I realized what it looked like, so we just got rid of it. How long did it take me to realize it? That I cannot say. Okay, that was pretty quick. Ooh, next alpha. Ooh, if you use a clip curve with the circle at an angle and you hold down Alt, it gives you this result. That's all I did. I did nothing more. And that's the result you get. So I just smoothed it out. And I think I added a little more detail to it, but yeah, we converted this into one of those 3D alphas, I'm pretty sure. It wasn't working at first because I think I zero meshed it, and if you change the default plane or grid, then it won't convert into 3D alpha. So I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it wasn't working. So did I undo that, or what was up? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I go back to it and then undo my zero meshing. Yeah, I go back to the stage before I zero meshed it, so that way I could turn it into 3D alpha. Just go to brush, I think, and click, or it's alpha, I don't remember, and just click alpha from mesh or something. I forget the names, but it's right there. Just make sure you're looking at it from the top when you create the alpha. It's working! But of course we don't have enough detail for it. So a little useful trick. You can subdivide local areas of your mesh. And the way you do this is you mask out an area, and everything that's not masked out, when you subdivide, only that area is going to subdivide. I don't know if you saw that, but I added topology to just these little areas. And the only reason I polygrouped them was so I could see where they were, because I did not want to turn on a polyframe because it just really slows down. So I think they weren't big enough, so I just ended up remaking them. So everything that's not masked out is going to get subdivided when we press Ctrl D. Perfect. And now we have these localized areas with just an insane amount of polygons to work with. So that's pretty useful when you need to add a complex alpha, but your mesh just doesn't have the topology for it, and you don't want to subdivide it because it would just be way too high. Oh, we make another one over here. A tiny one over here. I think it was too tiny. Never mind, I just make it work. Whenever it seems like I'm just moving around the mouse and not doing anything, it's because most of the time I'm only recording the ZBrush window. So when I'm searching for alphas and that kind of stuff, that window doesn't show up in the recording. So yeah, I'm not crazy just moving the mouse around. I'm probably just looking through Windows Explorer. And here, I don't know how I lost track of my alpha, so I needed to remake it real quick. Fixing that edge. What's the next step? A new alpha. I don't think I actually use this one. Yeah, I should have edited it out. Waste of video. Yeah, I don't think I use this one because it's super square. Has like sharp edges. Oh wait, I smooth them out. Okay. A little bit. Yeah, do I use it anywhere? Pretty sure I don't. I think that's an alpha I found somewhere. Or I guess I made it. Oh no, I made this one. Yeah, and I'm just looking for places to put it, and I decide this is a good area. So I subdivide it. You know, we subdivide only that area. And then I try placing it with what do you call it? With lazy mouse and just changing the spacing. And this was actually really tricky. Trying to get that perfect curve. But hey, we did it. But then I wasn't happy with it. We had the perfect curve, but not the perfect alpha size. Unfortunately. So we have to remake it. I mean, we don't have to, but I am me. So that means we do. Are we happy? Nah, they're too small. Yep. Need to be a little bit bigger. Third time's the charm. Even though we've done it like 6 times by now. We rotate the alpha, which is something you can do. Close, but still too small, I think. Guess not. Guess we're happy. Okay. Guess I don't know myself as well as I thought. Oh, and the way I erased them. Before I drew them, I stored a morph target. So after those alphas were drawn in, if you switch the morph brush, then you can actually erase everything that wasn't there before you stored the morph target. So it's an incredibly useful ZBrush feature, but not very common. Storing morph targets. Minor shape tweaks. This calls for the Vitaly brush. First try. perfect. Or perfect enough. What's this? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I see. I'm experimenting by adding more cut lines here, but I actually don't remember if I've kept these or not. Nah. Now, when something requires too much finesse, just get rid of it. Find another way of doing that. Which ends up being manually. Who would have thought? Oh, I deleted it. I'm pretty sure I got rid of it. Oh no, here we go. Whoa. Whoa. Few more times. That good enough? I think it's just too tricky, so I gave up. Oh yeah, the teeth need a little additional detail, but we weren't quite sure what to make, so I just followed the stroke that's already there. But in reverse, I lifted up the geometry. And it looked good. So that's always a good technique, echoing a shape that's already there. And we only have to do one side, of course, because we can just mirror it to the other side. Tiny teeth need some love. Whew, that's a lot of teeth. I mean, it probably would have been smarter to do this way from the start and detail them, so that way when I duplicated them, they would all already have the detail, but I just didn't think of that. Nobody's perfect. Ooh, these front teeth need the same treatment. Can you imagine if this was real time? I mean, I know we always want real time, but oof, I don't think you would watch it if I told you how many hours it was. Yeah, I don't even want to say. Because it was a really fast project. It was like a week long, which I'm pretty sure I've mentioned, but sculpting was like the bulk of it. Mostly because I didn't really have a workflow for creating a helmet, but I do now, so. And the teeth look, I like them. And I'm trying to use Noisemaker to fill in that area behind the teeth. And I saw there was some like hexagon pattern, but I couldn't really get it to work. In fact, the window's not even showing, even though I'm clicking all the buttons and sliders, and then ZBrush crashed. I don't know if you saw that, the black screen. So yeah, ZBrush crashed. We opened it again, and then we just decide Noisemaker's not gonna work. So we go back to doing things manually. Huh? Who would have thought? Didn't see that one coming. Hopefully you're not epileptic. Sometimes I just go crazy with hiding and unhiding meshes. Let me go all the way around. Oh, I remembered exactly what I was watching on YouTube when I was making these. Yeah, I could have tried to come up with some interesting detail to put in between the teeth, but I went with the safe route of, again, just following a shape that's already there. And then just drawing around all of the teeth. And it ended up looking pretty good. It was practically genius. Okay, not really. But it looked good. Never mind, I had an idea, but nah, wouldn't have looked as nice. And we forgot the little teeth. That's one. Oh no, here we go. It's two. Three, and last one. And then we just mirror and weld, and I guess I could have done it with symmetry, but I kept my mesh unsymmetrized because of the issues I was having when framing the mesh and adding curves. So I just forgot to reactivate it. But it's no big deal, I can just like mirror and weld using my trusty UI. And here I actually am trying to come up with something that goes in between, but I didn't like anything. It's because the mesh is perfectly flat in that area. So it just wasn't interesting enough. There was no levels. Just a flat panel that I had to fill in with something, and I couldn't figure out what. So that actually looked good enough, but not quite. So yeah, there's just too much stuff in there. That's why it's not working. So we simplify. And I'm still not 100% happy with how I left that, but I think I could have kept that detail. It wasn't too bad. Thank God for Control Z. I've undone everything I've done in that area. Yeah, and this chapter is pretty much done. Only final details remain. So I guess I'll see you there.